Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are back for another beginner's guide following on from the ones I've done for the V and the Formula Ford. Now the Mazda MX-5 might be a rookie car in iRacing, but don't let that fool you. This car is often said is very easy to drive and very difficult to drive fast. It requires a masterclass in momentum driving, car control and racecraft if you want to move ahead. Now, whether you're chasing your first clean race and safety rating is your goal, or you're battling at the front to try and get up to top split, these tips are going to make you faster, smoother, and way harder to beat. So grab yourself a beer, and we're about to unlock everything that makes this little car the perfect training ground for becoming a more complete driver. Let's start the film. Tip 1. Prioritize exit speed over corner entry. Now in the MX-5, exit speed wins races, not how fast you can throw it into the corner. It's got low power, so if you do mess up your exit, you'll be a sitting duck all the way down the straight for anyone behind you. So you want to focus on getting the car turned in, straightened, and get back on throttle as early as possible, even if it means slowing down a little bit more on entry. That smooth early drive out the corner is where lap time is made and positioned are gained. Tip 2. Learn to control the car right on the edge. Now, one of the best things about the MX-5 is just how predictable it is at the limit. That makes it the perfect car to learn real car control as a rookie. Now, a lot of rookies do try and drive as if they're on a Sunday outing with their in-laws in the rear of the car. They try and steer more and hope that it turns. But if you really want to be fast, you need to work with the weight of the car. Try lifting slightly off the throttle as you turn in. You'll feel the nose bites and the rear will start to rotate. That's lift off oversteer, and it is your best friend in this car. Once you've got the knack of the back end rotating, it's about getting those small, smooth corrections. Don't fight it, just guide the car with minimal input and a steady hand. Practice this in medium speed corners where there's just enough grip to play with. The more you get comfortable with that movement, the better you'll be in traffic or on worn tires or when you're chasing the edge of a lap time. Tip 3. Nail your race starts. Now, the MX-5 is very easy to get off the line. Put the clutch in, go to full revs, put it into first gear, and when the lights go green, just drop that clutch. This is very simple. However, when we get to T1, it can be absolute chaos. Most drivers panic, brake too late, or try and go 3 wide. Your job is just to stay calm, pick a clear line, and focus on survival, not heroics. A clean start where you gain 2 spots and avoid contact is worth way more than trying to win the race in the first 10 seconds. You can't win a race on the first lap, but you can lose it, as this guy shows. Now, on the first lap, you're going to have cold tires. The first few turns are going to be hectic. Don't be this sausage. Get yourself surviving, get yourself into the race. Tip 4. Master the art of racing, not just hot lapping. Now, don't get me wrong, being fast on a hot lap is great, but racing does take an entirely different skill set. You're going to need to learn when to attack, when to defend, and some general racecraft. I'll come on to that in a second. But if you do want to hone these skills, you can load up an AI session, which is one of the later tips. I'll show you how to do that. The more you get used to positioning your car in traffic, the more confident and consistent you'll be in actual races. Now let's look at some overtakes. Whilst this upcoming set of examples is anything other than definitive, it will give you some ideas. Now, the easiest way to get past someone is to get a better exit on the final corner, draft them on the straight, and then you can get the pass thoroughly completed by the time you actually get to T1. The next easiest way to pass someone is to draft them down the straight. If you've not got enough speed to go past them, you can just move to the inside, brake a little bit later than them, and then just make sure you take the apex and they will have to go the long way around. This next type of pass is simply about relying on the knowledge that you have of the corners coming up. So as you can see on the main straight at VAR, I've drafted this guy to the right of me. I don't have the speed to fully overtake him before the corner, so he's defended the inside. I'm going to hang it on the outside, but what I know is that the next 3 corners coming up following the first turn are all to the left-hand side. So by hugging the inside of the following corners, I've gone from the outside to the inside, and it allows me to get a turn complete before we get to turn 4. This next sort of pass, I believe, is the most fun. It's the late feint. So as you see, as we're coming up to the turn 7 uphill, I'm pretending I'm going to go to the outside. Just before the braking zone, I move to the inside. He's now watching me in his wing mirrors, misses his apex, has a little mistake, and I get to make the pass through without touching him. The next thing I wanted to do was just show you that just because you can overtake somebody doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right time to do it in the race or on that particular lap. As we come here up to turn 3 at Laguna Seca, the car in front of me has a little bit of moment. And as you can see, it's tempting to go up his inside into turn 4. But I would be passing him for second place. This is the last lap. I want to actually finish first. So what I gambled on doing was just sticking behind him rather than sacrificing both of our turn threes and turn fours. And what I wanted to do was draft him and try and get up to first place up the hill. So in turn 5, again, as we're looking here, the guy in the lead actually has a bit of a moment. I've now drafted the guy that was in second place. He's now in first. Again, I have a quick look. It wasn't worth it before the turn 6. However, at turn 6, he doesn't make the best decision. I get to use the draft, and by not making that move initially, I've actually gone from third to first. And as a bonus, no one killed me in the corkscrew. The next clip I want to show you is what I thought was a bit of a masterclass of defending. I'm actually behind watching these two from my car. Now, the white car is Seb Coulson, very good driver, I think 5, 6K, something like that. The guy on his outside right now is also a good driver. Now, the guy on the outside wanted to do a switchback here, but Seb positions his car absolutely perfectly. He decides to brake late and run deep, but that has now given him the insides for turn 2 and 3 coming up here. Now, what Seb wants to do is get close enough to him so that the guy doesn't have the space to switch back on him and go down the inside of 4 coming up. For me, it was a bit of a masterclass of defending, and we'll look at him again later on in this lap as well. So we join the two drivers again here as we're coming into uphill turn 7. Now, this is the final lap of the race. Again, Seb is wanting to cover the inside, but he's not making any late moves. He's not moving under braking and he's not blocking. He's just driving and positioning his car incredibly well. Now, as we come here to the top of the carousel or whatever it's called, Big Dipper, Seb goes to the inside nice and early. He is daring the other guy to go around his outside and he puts himself in the perfect position to avoid being overtaken. Tip 5, don't over-rev the engine. Now, the MX-5 has got a soft rev limiter. That means that if you keep your foot in for too long, it will just sit there buzzing away and you'll lose time. The ideal time to shift is between about 7,200 and 7,400 revs, just as all the lights light up. Unfortunately, the rev limiter is at 7,500 revs. If you do hit that, it will cost you half a tenth or a tenth every single time that you are changing gear. Now, if you are not wanting to stare exactly at your dash and you haven't yet learned the correct engine note, you can download third-party software such as SoundShift. If you Google it, SoundShift iRacing, it will give you a little beep in your ear every time you need to change gear. It's well worth it. Small detail, but over a lap, it does add up quite fast. Tip 6, don't rely on ABS. Try and learn efficient braking and trail braking. So whilst the MX-5 does have ABS, it is a very crude and basic system, and if it is kicking in, you're going to be leaving lap time on the table. It's a very soft system, meaning that to stop you from locking up, the brakes come on and off 1,000 times in a second, and when it activates, it's actually going to extend your braking distance and remove your front end grip, which will make turning in that much harder. It activates between about 70 and 80% of brake force, depending on the amount of grip available in that corner. The goal is actually threshold braking, which is to press the brakes just hard enough to get close to locking up, but not so hard that you actually activate the ABS. This will allow you to stop shorter and carry more speed into the corner. Once you're at that limit, start introducing trail braking, easing off the brake as you turn in, all the way down to the apex when you actually start to increase your throttle. This way you keep the weight on the front tires, it will help the car rotate without sliding or understeering. It's especially useful in slower corners or where the turn-in feels very lazy. If you hear the ABS buzz or see a sudden spike in your brake trace, you're probably braking too hard. Ease off a touch and focus on smooth pressure. Master this and you'll gain time in every braking zone while setting up much cleaner entries. Tip 7, learn the off track zones. Now, the people with the highest IR on iRacing know within the inch whereabouts every off track is on the tracks. If you want to race hard without getting incident points and without ruining a quali lap, you've got to know where those limits are yourself. Every track has got corners where it's easy to run wide and pick up off tracks, even if you think you're still on a tarmac. So spend some time learning via track guides and the like which curbs and exits you can use and which ones will penalize you. The better you know the limits, the harder that you're going to be able to push without ruining your safety rating or without ruining your qualifying lap. Tip 8, use the whole track and understand your car's width. Now, a lot of drivers leave lap time on the table just by not using all of the available track. I went into great detail on my beginner's guide for the Formula Ford as to why this matters. I'll link that above now, but just understand that we want to increase the radius of the corner because that allows for a higher speed at the apex. Now, the MX-5 is narrow and stable, so you do feel like you can take it right the way up to the curves on entry and exit. Know exactly how wide your car is. Also, load up a test session and drive so that you can hear the rumble strips when you've got them on the right hand side or on the left hand side of your car. Make a mental note of where that is. It's free speed, it's going to allow for better angles and more margin for the throttle on the way out. Tip 9, ditch the driving line. Try and learn visual markers by the side of the track. Now, the driving line overlay may feel like it is handy when you are first starting out in iRacing. And I will admit that if it is the first time you're driving around a track, it is useful to know whether or not you're going to turn left or right. However, it is not a racing line, it's not the most efficient way around a circuit. And it is a crutch that people get attached to. When you're in a race and when you have got cars on either side and in front of you, you are often unable to see where the driving line is. You're not going to be able to see those markers. And if you then end up getting stuck in that situation, you're going to feel incredibly naked and you're not going to have a clue where to go. Instead, use real visual markers, breakboards, curbs, surface changes, shadows of trees. These cues will work in every session, in every condition, and they'll make you a smarter, more adaptable driver. You'll be able to focus on your racecraft and not trying to stare at the road in front of you where a car might be. Tip 10, practice makes perfect. Now, the fact that you're watching this video suggests you're not one of the people that jump straight into a race without practice. But if you do, that is a one-way ticket to mistakes and incident points. Always try and get at least 10 to 15 clean laps in first. Get used to what your tires feel like when they're nice and warm and up to temperatures on that track. Find your braking points, try and lock into a rhythm. That'll help you be sharper, more confident, and way more consistent on race day. Another thing that you can do is log in and load an AI single race, and that will allow you to set up a race against computer opponents of various different standards without actually being under the pressure of wrecking someone else's race and wrecking your own. You certainly won't lose iRating, you won't lose any safety rating, and anytime you do make a mistake, you can just hit the tow button and go back and restart the race completely afresh and anew, and no one has to be any the wiser. I do recommend it for those people starting out. iRacing is designed for its online play, but the AI has improved, and it's certainly a great way to practice. Tip 11, use active reset. So to do this, load a test session, go to options on the right hand side, go down to control bottom right. Then we scroll down, and on the right hand side, we will see active reset start point and active reset run. Now, as with anything else, we can now bind a button for each of these things. So I use two on my steering wheel that I wouldn't normally use. Then we hit done once we've got that ready. That will now allow us to run a test session and look what happens. So to save time, I have just done my outlap at Lime Rock Park, and now I'm driving merrily on my way, about to round the last corner of my outlap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the button that I used just before to hit active reset start point. I'm going to hit it just now, just before the start finish line. Now I come up to T1, I've baked it too hard. Oh no, look at that, I'm spinning my car. Now, without active reset, what I would have to do would be to tow back to the garage and reset. But all I need to do is press the button that I had for active reset run, and now it starts me off right at the exact moment when I press the button just before the start finish line. Now you can do this anywhere on the lap. If there is one problem corner that you've been struggling with halfway through Bathurst or something like that, or through Spa, or even on the Nürburgring, then you're absolutely welcome to use active reset. It is a way to nail corners. I said before, I wouldn't be able to do my track guides without it because it just speeds the whole process of learning up. It's absolutely great. You still got to do the work yourself, but at least now you don't have the downtime of having to do the outlap over and over again after a mistake. Next tip. Tip 12, and the tip that nobody likes, but everybody ends up accepting in iRacing. It was probably your fault. Rewatch replays of your own crashes. Now, no one likes crashing, but if you just quit out and move on, you're wasting a huge opportunity to improve. Rewatch the replays, rewatch them from your own camera angle, rewatch them from your opponent's cockpit, rewatch them from your chase cam and also from your opponent's chase cam. Many times, if you watch just from your own chase cam, it will appear as if your opponent has moved into you. If you do the reverse and watch from theirs, it will often look like you moved into them. That is the very definition of a racing incident. But try and find out what mistakes were made because something was made. Now, were you too aggressive? Were you badly positioned on the road, or simply did you trust the wrong driver? Every mistake has a cause, and the sooner you learn from it, the faster and cleaner you'll be next time. If you're losing safety rating, it means that you are the common denominator. Try and find out what you're doing wrong and improve. And that's it for the tips. So to conclude, the MX-5 may be where everyone starts on sports cars. Certainly if they hate the pig that is the M2 as much as I do. But mastering it will give you the skills that you can carry through to every car on iRacing. If you take the time to build Racecraft, sharpen your car control, and focus on clean, smart driving, you will be miles ahead of the pack. So let me know which tip helped the most in the comments, and if it's helped, drop a like and subscribe for more track guides and sim racing tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys out there.